Okay, so in our earlier videos, we have learned about finding the square of a number. And what we said that given a number n, the square of that number is simply, multiplying that number by itself. Now, what if we were given a number m and you know that it is a square number? Okay, this is a square number. And we are looking at the problem in a reverse way. Of what number is it a square? Okay, that is what we want to look at. What number is squared to give this square number? And this is where the square root operation comes in. So this process or this operation we call as squaring, or finding the square of a number, whereas this operation where we are given a square number and finding out the number of which it is a square is known as a square root. Okay, so now let me give you a very quick example. So we have learned that 4 is a square of 2 times 2. So all you would say is that, okay, if m is 4, that is we are given a number 4, then we can say that 4 is a square of number 2. So this operation we would represent mathematically as the square root of 4, and this is the symbol, or this is the sign which shows that we are taking the square root of 4 is 2. This is how we represent. Whereas the square operation, we represent 2 square equals 4. So as you can see, this is the operation of squaring and this is the operation of square root. Okay, it is represented at root 2. Now there is one more point which I would like to emphasize is we earlier mentioned that 2 times 2 is 4. How about if I were to multiply -2 by -2? Now we know from, these are now integers. So you know that when you multiply negative number with a negative number, the sign is positive. So that becomes a positive sign, but 2 times 2 is 4. Well, so this brings us to an important observation about finding the square root of a number. So actually, can I say that if I were to find out the square root of 4, it could be either a positive 2 plus 2, or it could also be a -2, right? So for short, we usually write it as plus minus 2. Okay, and so to just kind of reiterate, if you are given a number m which is a square, you take the square root of that number m, and we know for this point in time that this is a perfect square. Okay, we are dealing with perfect squares. Now we know, so let us say that n is the square root of this number n. So it could be either represented as a product of n times n or minus n times minus n. Both of them will give m as the result. So this is how we generalize it. However, for all the discussions that we are going to do in this chapter, we will just assume plus n. So for all our purposes, we are going to say we are just going to deal with positive numbers, but just wanted to bring it to your awareness that a square actually will have two kind of a square number will have two square roots. One is a positive integer and another one is a negative one. Okay, so in the coming videos we'll see how to calculate the square root of a given number.